thank you for joining. And basically, let's talk about Magento, about community engineering. It's been a lot of talk about this, right? And it's community engineering made huge, boom, I would say, in Magento world since it started 2017. And there is a picture. It's 3 years old picture, and but it's Magento Imagine. Unfortunately, this year we couldn't gather to make new picture, but I like this because I look younger and everyone looks younger. At the same time, we know, all of these people actually in the picture still in communities. That's amazing, right? Our community is like solid. It's like a family. As soon as joined, it's very hard to leave it, and it's no reason to leave it because it's amazing people, and you see how happy everyone. But talking about this, we like 3 years within this community engineering engagement, and community is a crucial part of Magento ecosystem. So since this like we're in toddler age right now, and I try to analyze what we are being and where we're right now, and basically going forward, we became bigger, and it's not only on a stage, right? How big Magento, whatever, but inside community engineering efforts became growing significantly. I'm gonna show some numbers later, but we have more people join. We met new friends. Even community engineering team, became not only team but entire Safe Life and Magento product organization. Right now, not only a small group of people who started 3 years ago working, but broad organization involved, and all these efforts, working, very well for this years, and going forward, I'm sure it's going to succeed and bring even more cool stuff. We became smarter, and we learn a lot from each other. We learn a lot from community, from partners, from engagement. Even for development perspective, we have a lot of smart people point us and educate, how to better deal with code, how to write better code, and more performance steps. And we start also addressing the point of how many pull request issues or what kind of issues we're processing. Community became more smart in terms of how they deliver code. And I have a few slides to show what it means. And we're stronger, and by stronger, I mean we're stronger all together. Partners, developers, engineers, ecosystem, and Magento partnering in such events like this one, right, with Magento Association, on other online events like we have Imagine online. So we're stronger, and we can, go over all these problems, which we face in a business and in life with the COVID, everyone sitting home, how we can support each other. And there is like real action, and Adobe already shown their commitment to help and merchants and also partners, which also I have shared about. But that's where like business for years. That's what I see happening, and I'm sure it's going to be more and more coming this way. In terms of bigger, right? Right now, especially everyone living at home, having online conferences happening, we're still eager to communicate, right? It's not often you can have ability to jump home. I have this Slack which we launched 3 years ago, and it's nothing like we have tons of different channels. We have very active channels and help us a lot because it's close to real life communication. It's definitely not cannot replace meeting together, have a beer, but at least during our regular life we can jump talk, and we have very active channels like a cloud, for example. But what proved me we're growing its number of members, and maybe see I just explained it's screenshot from yesterday. So basically right now we're close to 8,000 or 7,600 members, and we have new people join, sending requests. So it's just showing me how community growing. We have more and more people join, communicate, elaborate, making friends, provide feedback, and it keeps going. Basically every day I see new members jump in. We have some requests coming like who cannot find a link, or maybe link doesn't work. So that's show how power community, right? We're not lacking people. We have more and more on board, which is making me very excited about this, and see how Magento play a big role in life of these people. In terms of smarter, right, you maybe notice if we create a request or process issues, we start having the severity and priority issues more often. And this is a way how we think, like, we have a lot of pull requests coming, we have a lot of improvements, but how we can define the one who really benefit to customer now. Because customers, and we're getting feedback from customers, they looking for patch upgrades very small with critical issues which are going to serve their business improvements. They're not looking for 500 issues or pull requests there because they need to run business. But all other pull requests can go in next minor release. So we partner with product management organization and start pretty much marking these issues, pull requests and priority and severity to understand. So as you see an example, P1 S1 most likely going to be next patch release because when defined is quite critical, and that's where we want focus developers' efforts from community to resolve and maybe work on these issues first time. And if there is P4, P5, it's nice to have, but maybe it's not something critical at the moment, and we can focus efforts what bring our customer success and what can a customer easy life in these hard times. Also in testing, so we really focus on testing. We have dedicated team workers on it, and you already seen a lot of efforts by community journey done in GitHub, but we expanded each time. Right now we have about 12 different testing suites which you can run using just GitHub message link. And you definitely and most cool stuff you can run this test in isolation. You say like run test this build of this test. You don't need to wait for all of them. And also we definitely want you to run it locally, but we understand complexity in some, for example, functional tests run it. So that's the reason we take care about this. But that's what brings again smart move for developers on what it means, how they can develop high quality code and create it. And there is another examples, but also we provide all this information, right? We generate a lot of resources, information, put in a thread bucket to give developers in a real time scenario what kind of failed test, where you can find this. And it's, when I look at it, like in some cases, I wish we had this internally in Magento a few years ago, right? Have this easy for it. We have CI/CD, but it's not so sophisticated as GitHub. It's much easier, using Slack or messaging or comment in GitHub, run this stuff. So that's the reason how we focus on a more smarter solution, how we provide more high quality decisions, and what not accepted and not. And there is stats, right, which I share, often. I didn't share, for a long time. I think last time it was Magento Live in Europe, but we start looking, and right now COVID impact developers, working from home. There is business, family, which is my kids running. There's a lot of conference call from work when my kids just jumping on my head, and this is like a new reality, and everyone already considers it's fine, it's just life. But we were looking eager to understand how this impact our stats. And so when we start running stats, and I'm going to show where you can lose this, but year to date we have already 3,500 per request. It's pretty much the same rate as we had last year, even not faster, because remember we started with smarter solution. We started focusing developers and community on some more high priority items. We fixed about 600 issues, and again we're looking into issues which want to have patch release versus next minor release, sorry. And we also start prioritize those, because if it's like it's 3 or 4 in some impact on code, maybe we're going to postpone it or just say like, okay, we acknowledge, but this is not something our customer may benefit right now, and it may bring a little bit more traction. And the smart move right. And it's tremendous amount. 3 years ago, the number was 0. Right now, 71% of entire pull requests coming from community is covered by automated tests. Is it functional or is integration in unit? But matter of fact, they covered by automation tests, which reduce our efforts during the regression and delivery. And it doesn't mean like 29 left is like we're skipping. Just 29 and defined is don't need to write functional tests. It can be some typo, some logic refactoring, which basically covered already by functional test, and we just prove it works. But 71% is tremendous number, which we achieved recently, and it's basically show how smart the developers are looking into code delivering this stuff. And when you implement, when you work in this customer, the same way, create tests, functional unit, and we have a lot of resources in it. Again, half of entire code was delivered by partners, and it's still amazing. Again, partnership and the mention we're stronger together, just shows this proof. Partners, play a crucial role in success of Magento. A majority of you working for our partners. Even if you don't partner, you still do big impact on Magento and ability, to drive future of it and shape future of this. This number I gathered, yesterday, but it was interesting to see how it's correlated with number, people in Slack, right? For starting, since 2017 when Inchcom, was raised rate, there is more than 10,000 people interact with us through GitHub, either to create issue, comment, or pull request, or some comment to pull request. But it's unique users who interacted within our repo for last 3 years, which is basically show how we're growing. It's a number growing and growing and growing. So our community is very strong and growing. acquire more and more smart people. And this number, which I put asterisks because it's basically just proven for last 2 years we have this pretty much similar number. Half entire code delivered by community in open source, Magento open source delivered through community. Entire open source code delivered by community is half of it. So it means to store it stronger together, Magento product engineering and community, we deliver twice more features and bring more value to our customers much faster, right? If we would do it apart. So that's amazing results which adapt any commercial product, any community achieve in any way, and it's still keep amazing us how strong all of you, how amazing you are. There is a lot of contribution, but I want to ask team to can you provide me some bright example? And when you look at it, we can keep running. It can be hundreds mentions, but I'm going to outline just 4, just show how different this contribution was, right? One is technical improvements, basically but elimination inheritance requirements for action controllers and just use action interface for our controllers, which started developed by Vinay Kopp and Lukasz Basarovich, sorry if the name is pronounced wrong, continued and delivered. And also was to mention Igor Svizev, who take a lot of time in order to review and make it mergeable. So it's if you think about it, improve developer experience and improve performance, because as you know from architecture team and from other methods, we don't like inheritance. Inheritance is bad. It's bring a lot of complexity. We're trying to reduce it. So it's amazing time. Kudos to these guys. And other stuff like pretty cool improvements for our security stuff. When you have short-term admin accounts, when you specify expiration date, delivered by Laura Folker, well-known community member. And other improvements like in backend, like usability, we have our charts, and we have MBI right now, which more advanced charts, but we have default embedded charts, which recently was updated to Chart.js by Bartolomei Zuber. Basically bring us new capabilities, new features, and new improvements in our charts in backend, which was pretty cool, delivered by community, and it was worth to mention it. And different inventories and store pickup implementations. This is like evolution of multi-source inventory, which customer allow to specify pickup order in particular stocks in some store, which was delivered by Alexander Koshuk, Max Novik, and Mateusz Kraszowski. Kraszowiak. Again, unfortunately, I cannot pronounce proper names. The same my name is hard to pronounce, and I'm fine with it. But to this point, there is more and more. I can like from PWA teams, there is GraphQL, storefront APIs. There's a lot of stuff, but it just shows how wide. It's not bug fixing only. It's not just improvements. It's like real incremental improvements delivered by community in our ecosystem, which is amazing. Thanks to all of you. As I mentioned, we didn't have contribution days this time in Magento, but I was happy to see how partners and developers just chatting Slack and me. Are we going to do it online? And of course, we're going to do it online. And it was one of the unique events which was held in April. But what happened is like 8 of partners joined and provide their teams, but also it was first 24-hour non-stop coding marathon. And when people was working literally 24 hours, and some partners just have this online stuff every 2 or 3 hours. I think it was SketchUp show demo, and as a result, in 24 hours we have 131 pull request improvements done, and it was 50 recorded demos when people just online show what they delivered. It was amazing to show how community united due all this COVID restriction, but want to work together and deliver some high quality improvements. These people, I cannot spend enough time to thank these guys and promote them. And to be honest, it's our maintainers. We have right now 33 of those guys joined. They process about 61% of pull requests. We still have more room for more maintainers because we want to achieve 100% pull request. So if you still interested, if somebody interested, let us know. But I would say these guys do amazing job. They basically, I can, from my words, say they're high quality developers, Magento developers. I would want all of them to be in my group. Actually, they're in my group, right? Even so, they're not working for Adobe. But for employees who these people work for, I mean, you like it to have these guys, and maybe they worth to promotion. I don't know. Partners, again, I cannot reiterate again how we, blessed to have these partners. Majority of them is pure Magento shows developers. They're working hard, delivering, and it's like from different parts of the world, right? And it's small partners, and like Atwix, all the huge partners like Wyman, all of them, taking part in delivering some improvements despite all these hard times, but also bring a lot of innovations and a lot of ideas to us. But also Adobe, we're thinking about partners, and we understand right now it's hard time. And it was announced recently in our blog and Gary Spector say, we're going to support our solution partner in these hard times. So what it means, we realize there is some impact on business. And what's most important resources partners have? A part of customers definitely is they have developers, because developers is engineers is like crucial role in success of partner and Magento itself. And realize due some partners struggling with business, developers may struggle as well. So what we're thinking about and what we suggested, like, okay, if you have these developers which you cannot employ and you have hard time to pay the paychecks, right? We may help, and you're gonna hire temporary them to work in our backlog on 2.5 roadmap on different areas. And that's kind of we start, and this week actually 1st of June we're going to start on board and first batch of first subset of developers from partners, and that's how Adobe proves commitment and appreciation to partners. We understand we need to help each other in this hard time. So that's amazing, and I cannot be more proud to work in this organization, this company as Adobe. In terms of communication, all right, since very beginning, Magento was open source, but with Scrum team, we started bringing more and more attention and communication, sharing more information, and we cannot explain how we want to ever communicate. We want to give you more and more information when we have, and there is different mediums right now, and we'll listen to you, like also like Slack I mentioned, right? But there is more stuff, right? We have this open source Magento portal when developers can go and look into, what kind of project, what contributor is they interested to join. There are some references to GitHub. We have Magento contributors page, right? When you see, our top contributors, you have solution partners contributors, months, and see, these heroes. It's pretty much amazing, how people, change, and sometimes you see the same people, but we're trying to openly share what's happening in Magento. Dev blog, right? Like for example, like months ago during this Imagine contribution day, community decided to work on PHP Storm plugin, which we tried to work like many years ago. It was abandoned. Right now they revive it in order to make more flawless experience for developers using Magento in PHP Storm. YouTube, right? We have already 1,000 subscribers. There is a video going every day on different products, which we share. And if you wonder what's new feature, what happened, join this online, broadcasting or just see in video, because every single what demo we just share with everyone. It's publicly available in our GitHub account, our YouTube account. And DevDocs definitely. So for last couple of years, it was tremendous improvements in DevDocs. DevDoc team work hard in order to collect information, and a lot of contributors from community do this, filling knowledge base, providing feedback. Recently it was redesigned, and right now have this like great look and feel. So as I mentioned, we have tons of information which is shared, but one information which was missing, and when the beginning I was mentioned, I was provided some details and statistics. Right now it's available for everyone. We launched a new website and this company called Vertergia, but it's still in alpha. But we basically start using a lot of statistics and share it publicly in terms of GitHub collaboration. You can see all projects in Magento exist, where you can see top contributors. You can filter by partners. You see how many partners have. You have seen all these graphs show how many pull requests, what happened, and get issued. And it's going to be more and more stuff. We're going to connect all medium sources, so we can show pools of community, right? We want to have one centralized place in terms of show how community growing, and everyone can see it. It's not only hidden behind our some mass statistics. And that's you can use this URL check. Again, it's alpha. We're still working development, so don't break it, please. But just to give you a sense, we're trying to give all information we have. We're not holding it. And there's a lot of more stuff going on in the future, right? So right now, with 3 years in a row with community engineering, we change the world. It's also like feedback from community, from different communities, even out of Magento, how amazing we're doing, how community how great community Magento have. And we have a lot of more ideas. Jason, in opening session, mentioned he started working on developer experience for entire Adobe digital experience group, right? It means we're going to bring more information like on Adobe integration. We're going to, bring and trying to pull, this out to you all so you can participate in development and evolution of Magento integration with all this great stuff Magento and Adobe can, bring to you. So there's a lot of ideas happening, and we always look into community to, to participate in this. And to last word, right? I just cannot be, cannot find proper words to appreciate to how I appreciate to be part of this community. I'm already working with Magento 10 years, right? I mean 11, I believe, from very beginning. I see how it evolved, and I know we right now in brilliant state is collaboration, is partnership with all of you. But I know we still have a lot of to do, and we're going to be even better next year. And it's an exciting time, up front of us. And again, thanks for all of you who taking part of it. Thank you, our solution technology partners, developers, not developers, everyone who's makes this community such great. You're doing a great job, guys, and I think all of you need to be proud. And I'm proud, to be part of this community as well. Okay, I think that's it.
Hello.
Topic. I hope everyone sees this.
Thank you very much, Max. I don't know if there is anyone who has a question about the presentation that you can share on the chat on the right side of the screen. We'll be happy to answer.
Nacho, I cannot hear you. You're muted. Nacho, I cannot hear you.
Any contribution days near in the future?
Oh, it's going to be, and I know there is some requests already coming from partners to do. What right now important to understand, we're right now close to 0.4 release. Soon you're going to see 2.5 branch open, so we're going to focus. Until then, we don't want to organize this because it's going to clutch all these contributions. Also, we have this partner program I mentioned, right? We have a lot of partners right now at board, and so we'll make sure we don't make complexity to each other. So it's going to be later. I don't have any exact date, but with Magento Association, also with our partners and our solution partners, I know there is interest, and we will definitely do it.
Yeah, okay. Maybe it would be a good idea to have a parallel agenda from the events, also to have just this only 4 contribution days that people can attend and contribute. There is more questions in the chat. Okay, when contributing, usually the automated test failure don't bring in visibility. I guess this is some messages. Okay, are you able to read as well?
I see some calculus writing what needs to be done in order to get more details on the failure. So basically, talk with in Slack channel. So we all failures might be should be very narrative. So we have this S3 bucket which we generate all responses. So if you feel there is some gaps, we're eager to hear and talk with community engineering team. They're going to provide you guidance how to better to do it.
I think that we ran out of time. Thank you very much all for attending this session with Max. Max, thank you very much.
Yeah,
looking forward to see you in the next event. Okay.